innocent and perfect light of all creation. Every day, every moment is a moment of conscious acceptance in the perfection that is within. There's nothing in the world that reminds you. There's nothing in the world that stops and says, have you remembered today that you are the light of God? Have you lived this day as the light of God? The world is not stopping to remind you. The world does the opposite. The world and its intention, because the world is run by the ego, the intention of the ego is to distract and to make you believe again and again and again that you are limited and that you must battle and that you must protect and defend. Everything in the world keeps reminding that there is competition and that you have to win and you have to prove your worth. Never-ending supply of upside downness that does not in any way remind you that right now you are the light of God. To walk in the truth when you don't yet experience the truth is faith. It is what faith is for. As the world tells you to battle, that there isn't enough, that there are enemies, that there is a need for suspicion, that there is a need to prove something. All that while, Spirit is whispering. Listen. Listen to the whisper. Listen to the quiet that is calling to you at all times. You can even, if you listen carefully, you can listen to a vibration. You can hear the vibration of love that is speaking to you even while the ego's lies are screaming. And the world does scream. And yet you have been called to the truth of your being. Anyone who you come into contact with that is not consciously traveling the journey of love is going to point in another direction. And some of those beloveds who aren't aware of the spiritual journey yet, not only point in another direction, but find it almost humorous when beloveds are devoted. There's a lack of understanding and even some fear of the devotion. And yet the devotion that you bring to the world, your devotion of truth, is the only gift that you can give to them. The only gift. You could bring someone 1,000 gifts from the world. You could pour gifts onto someone from the world. And those gifts would absolutely have no meaning other than the intention of bringing love and peace and harmony through your demonstration, through your action. The peace that you are can be offered. Even if you just touch into peace for 2 minutes, in those 2 minutes, you can bring peace to humanity. And the power of that peace has no equal in this world. No equal. Within the world, everyone looks and identifies some beloveds that have an aggressive nature, that have a handle on the world. And yet the quiet, humble beloved who brings peace is the hero for humanity. That hero is willing to offer peace and not be looking for any feedback about it, just showing up and offering peace. Imagine that you're sitting on a park bench. You don't know anyone who's sitting next to you, who comes to sit next to you or walks by you or is feeding the birds or whatever it is. And yet, the power of the peace within you can touch every beloved that is there with such profound blessings that it's beyond the comprehension of this earth plane. And that is what everyone is called to. It isn't to keep the peace to yourself. It's to let it flow and to demonstrate that you are not at the effect of whatever it is that's going on in the world, but that you have found the way of peace, and you will demonstrate that peace. It isn't the idea of walking up to someone and saying, "Hey, do you want some peace? I have peace." That isn't what is being called for, but it is being called for to actually allow the peace that is the truth of you to express itself. Is it a deep learning? Yes, it is. It's a deep learning because every element of everyone's incarnation has been to worry and to strive. And the way of love is not striving. You are the light, the beauty, the innocence of creation. And you have this blessing to bring to everyone. Just in your ordinary life, not having to stand in a concert hall saying spiritual things, but just in your everyday life, bringing peace. It takes great courage when something seems to happen in your day that is perceived as upsetting. It takes great courage to step past that perception of upset and to come back to peace. Everything in you will want to challenge the upset out of habit, out of a plan that's been established for lifetime after lifetime. And yet, Spirit is calling you, instead of being at the reaction of something that you might believe is happening, to surrender that immediately into the hands of God and bring peace. That you don't have to be at the effect of the past, and you don't have to be at the effect of the belief of disturbance, but to bring peace instead. It's the easiest with peace. Peace is the most recognizable element of love, because peace is lacking fear, and peace is what you are. It isn't something that you just express. It's actually what you are. You are peace, you are harmony, you are beauty, you are innocence, you are gentleness, you are kindness, you are humility, you are magnificent, and you are ordinary. One with every beloved. Nothing to defend or become more of. You already are the light of God. But to accept that is to then live it. I had an interaction once with a beloved who, I had a landlord who lived downstairs, and he began wanting prayers and wanting to know more about prayers. And this beloved friend who was visiting in the country and said, does this beloved that lives downstairs, is he aware of your path? And I said, no, he doesn't have a clue about who lives upstairs, except that he wanted that peace. He felt the peace and he wanted the peace. So he asked for prayers. But really what he wanted was peace. And he felt the peace in just a passing by. And yet it pulled him. That's how powerful the peace is within you. It can pull someone from their living space and cause them to go looking for that peace, because it draws them. There is not one beloved in this world that at the center of their being does not want to remember peace. There isn't. No matter what or how they're behaving or anything else, at the center of their being, every beloved is looking for peace. Every beloved is looking for God. And you are the messenger. Everyone is the messenger. It's not a message of proselytizing to anyone, of telling anyone about this spiritual truths. That can happen, but it isn't that. It's demonstrating through your own peace that is so powerful. It's your smile. It's your heart opening. It's your gentleness, your kindness, humility that has no intention of having to prove worth through a conversation, but that is listening, quietly listening for the direction that the Holy Spirit is wanting you to take. The Holy Spirit, when you meet someone in a holy encounter, the Holy Spirit is communicating with you because the Holy Spirit already knows that beloved and can tell you exactly what is most helpful for that beloved. That's the power of the divine. You're not on your own. When you are offering love, you can't be on your own. You are with the Spirit of love that is there to guide you and show you what is most helpful. And in that beautiful guidance is your learning. That's your schoolroom. It may take a while to recognize that the Holy Spirit is in that communication with you, but don't be discouraged because it's factual, it's real. And when you don't connect in the way that is possible, you try and try again. With every beloved that comes into your awareness, with every situation, you try and try again. You listen. And you acknowledge that the Holy Spirit is here and serving through you. It's the blessing of your life. It's the blessing, certainly, of your day, and it's the blessing of the moment when you can offer peace. You will receive the blessing of this. It won't be, gosh, look what I did. I gave a blessing to someone. It won't be that. But it will be the quiet peace that you feel within you that you have offered love through peace. You won't have an awareness necessarily that says, oh, it affected this beloved this way or that way. No, we don't know. We don't know the depths of the peace that we offer. We don't know how anyone is going to be affected by it. We don't know what their journey will look like. We don't know how long they will continue to be on the earth plane or how many lifetimes they will still have to come back if they're not ready. We don't know. It doesn't matter. We offer peace. We open the door for each beloved that we possibly can. Not like a mission statement that you're determined you're going to go walking downtown and touch everybody. But in whatever place you are in the everyday, there is the opportunity to offer love. And I promise that every time you offer peace, your heart expands and your peace expands. Your peace expands and your faith expands. Because every time you offer peace, you will feel your heart expanding. Just even if it's just a touch, you'll feel your heart expanding. And you'll feel lighter. And you will feel connected. And you will experience gratitude. Because it is such a blessing to be the servant of God, the servant of peace. To offer peace is this beautiful place where you've lost the connection in a beautiful way of the narcissism of the ego that says, well, no, today has to be all about me. Instead, the narcissism starts to fade and the offering of love becomes in charge. Thank God. Thank God that every beloved has the power within them to serve humanity and really is called to serve humanity. So every day is that opportunity. Where would you have me be today? Who would you have me touch? How would you have me serve? I'm willing. And let that willingness be the strength that opens the light within and remembers. Light of God. In this moment, affirming that this universe is all love. Nothing else exists, and all of the illusions will fade away. This sanctuary is filled with love because love is all that is. Nothing else truly exists. There is only one presence here. There is only one presence in this universe, and it is the life force of God. And within this life force of God, we live and move and breathe as one. One heart in dedication to love. As the heart just says yes and follows simply with love. This prayer, which I've sung several times, tenderness. Tenderness, I feel your tenderness. While this hymn is being sung, have different thoughts that can run through of, well, I don't feel the tenderness. I don't feel the mercy. I don't feel the beauty. I don't feel the truth. But I will keep singing that I do until I do. Because the truth is that the tenderness is there. The mercy is there. The beauty is here. The truth is here. And everyone will open to that awareness. So when there is a hymn that speaks to, I feel your tenderness, and you're secretly saying, no, I don't. It is still a place that in your faith, I feel your tenderness. You could be saying, I want to feel your tenderness. But when you enter into this present moment and you acknowledge that the tenderness is here, that the beauty is here, that the truth is here, the opening can be so much greater. If your prayer is, I don't feel the tenderness, or I want to feel the tenderness, but I don't, you've closed the door in the belief that it's not here. And the faith is for you to open the heart and accept that the tenderness is here, and that you're not going to stop inviting that tenderness until you feel that tenderness, until you feel that mercy, until you feel that truth and that beauty, because it's what you want. And that's how healing occurs, when you don't close the door with the ideas of the mind that negate the tenderness, the mercy, the beauty, and the truth. And that there is nothing, absolutely nothing in God that is restricting tenderness, mercy from you. There is nothing that is holding it from you. It's just that we built such a great defense system in this world of illusion that to unhinge all of that defense system is God's full-time job for a while. But when you participate, I feel your tenderness. I feel your mercy, Lord. When you participate, you help open those doors. And the doors will open so much more easily as you join in the truth, even when you're not aware of the truth, that you accept it. I feel your tenderness, I feel your tenderness, I feel the tenderness of your ever-loving hand. I feel the tenderness, I feel the tenderness, I feel the tenderness from deep within. I feel your mercy, Lord. I feel the mercy, Lord. I feel the mercy, Lord, of your ever-loving hand. I feel the mercy, Lord. I feel the mercy, Lord. I feel the mercy, Lord, from deep within. I see your beauty, Lord. I see your beauty, Lord. I see the beauty, Lord, of your ever-loving hand. I see the beauty, Lord. I see the beauty, Lord. I see the beauty, Lord, from deep within. I sense your truth, O Lord. I sense your truth, O Lord. I sense your truth, O Lord, of your ever-loving hand. I sense the truth, O Lord. I sense the truth, O Lord. I sense the truth, O Lord, from deep within. Deep within. This tenderness, this love, this beauty, this truth, it never leaves. It's always here, and it's always with you, and it's always who you are. And let faith take you deeper. I ask you for mercy, my mother. I ask you for healing. I ask you to supply the healing that is most helpful in this moment. I ask for your love, and only in your love can the healing occur. Come and heal everyone within this session of love, and heal what is most necessary. This is the recognition of the divine love of the Blessed Mother that never refuses anyone and will heal whatever is offered. Apenas por vosso amor, apenas por caridade, a vos te damos louvor, ó Virgem da castidade. Apenas por vosso amor, atendo no seu chamado. Ajuda-nos, ó cessar, a curar a necessitado. Heal what is necessary. Heal what is necessary does not assume that anyone knows what is needed to be healed, but is available for whatever healing is necessary. It's faith. It's faith to have a prayer that says, heal what is necessary. I don't even know what it is, but I am putting my faith in the Divine Mother where the healing can be manifested. And I don't know what the healing will look like. Maybe the healing will be that I don't remember anything. Maybe the healing will be that the fear of surrender is diminished. Maybe the healing will be that whoever it was that I hated is no longer hated. Heal what is necessary. Heal me of everything that I've made up. I'm available. Let the faith of your heart surrender. That's all that's anything is really about. Dropping keys. The small man builds cages for everyone. He knows, while the sage, the lover of God, who has to duck his head when the moon is low, keeps dropping keys all night for the beautiful, rowdy prisoners. The small man builds cages for everyone because the ego mind believes in imprisonment, believes that misery is natural. The sage who loves God drops keys everywhere because that sage is aware that God holds no prisoners and wants everyone free. You can be that one that's handing out the keys with every beloved that you believe that you've held maybe in an identity. Drop a key. Let their identity go. Everything you thought you knew about them, drop the key so that they can step out of the prison of identity that you've held with them. And you've actually built a story that is particular to you. They have their own story, and then you have your own story. But you can drop the key and lose the story. They may not right away, but you have opened the door because you no longer hold them as a story, as an identity. You're willing to see them as the light of God. You're not only willing, at some point you will become determined that you have no other agenda at all, but to see them as the light of God and drop the key for them. It's an amazing realization that you can hold someone as the light of God in your heart, and it can be so powerful when you're not even saying anything about it, but quietly offering your love. That's the power that you carry. And so the sage, when the moon is so low that he has to duck his head, just keeps dropping keys everywhere. Nobody sees him, but he's still dropping keys. And that opens the door. Dropping keys is one gift. I had a teacher who gave me another gift that used the same word, drop. My teacher, Jose, not exclusive to me by any means, had a teaching that was very direct, that can shift energy very quickly. All you had to do was walk up to him and have a complaint, As soon as you had a complaint, he would look at you and say, drop it. That was his key that he was dropping. Drop it. It wasn't easy to hear because the complaint that was carried to him was, for me, in my mind, legitimate. But all he said was drop it. And what I learned from that was that I could. Was that I could drop that thought, drop that idea, drop that belief, and ignore it. Drop it. At first, it seemed rude to me that he would just look at me and say, drop it. But it was a precision surgery. It was a precision surgery that cut out the element of the mind that thought it knew something and wanted to make sure somebody else knew that I knew something. Drop it was the gift that was given in that moment. He probably could have said it differently. He probably could have said, I know how hard you've worked and how hard this has been for you, but he didn't. He just said, drop it. And when he said, drop it, in some strange way, he was telling me that I was not a victim, that I could drop it, that I had the power to change my mind, and that what I was bringing in my story was not worth anything. And that was helpful too, because I had believed that it was really important information and I had something really important to say, but I didn't. Because what I was carrying was, I'd made it up. I didn't make it up to give it to him. I made it up because I believed in illusion. And he saw through it and said, drop it. Love comes in a lot of different packages. It's the intention. The intention behind the words, drop it, was pure love. It was pure love. There were many beloveds who didn't take it as pure love, that were insulted or even angry, frustrated. But it was love. And it continues to be love. Dropping keys, dropping illusion. Both blessings. And we have in our journey, it certainly was in this journey, that there was a lot to drop, a lot to surrender. Everything that I had known was there to surrender. And love kept calling. The small man builds cages for everyone, and the sage drops keys so that all the prisoners can be freed. And this is what you're being called to, is to step out of that cage with love and and to not allow the cage to be part of your furniture anymore. You don't need a cage. You've never needed a cage, but now it's time to step out of the cage. Everybody built the cage because of the belief and the fear of the world. There's nothing to fear. And all the fear of the past can be dropped. Can you imagine that you don't actually have to figure out what your fear means? That you won't spend 10 years dissecting the fear. It just is nothing. It's nothing, and you can drop it. You can drop the fear because fear is self-manufactured to defend against love. That's all that it's for. It's a distraction that we make that holds our attention for sure, but it's self-manufactured and it has no power except the power that we give it. How do you give power to it? By believing that it is real and that it has validity and you should listen to it. It is an energy that is made to rebel against God. When I first received this teaching, that was a universal teaching, I was stunned. I was stunned that it was a rebellion against God, because I had all my life felt like fear was coming after me, that I could step outside and get whacked by it somehow when I wasn't looking. It would show up everywhere. When you're willing to recognize it as energy that you do not have to agree with, eventually that energy will leave, because you're not feeding it, because you're not giving it validity. It's hard to believe that you could be standing facing something that you truly would believe would be something that could harm you, and that in that moment you have the strength through your faith that there's nothing there. Now, when everybody was young, you believed in monsters in the dark, in some fashion. You didn't have the strength then, the faith then, to be able to stand and say, this cannot be the truth. You believed in the monsters. You had to have the light on, or it got scary. But that fear that is running is an energy field that is a rebellion against God, that has no value, no purpose. It's been developed because we develop fear because we believe in it. But now it's the time to surrender that fear and recognize that you're not willing anymore to give it your allegiance. You can feel the fear, and you can actually observe it and not let it have the dominion over you. You can observe it and say, no, I will not dance with this. And I say this because I walk through that fear. I walk through the panic attacks. I walk through all the fear of everything. And the Holy Spirit said, refuse. Stand in the light. Stand in the truth. Stand in the firmness of the truth of you. And I stand with you. And when you stand in that truth without the fear or against the fear, without giving it your allegiance, all the beings of love are with you. All the guides, all the angels, everyone is with you, holding you as you let go of the belief of fear, so that you don't have to be at the effect of that, and you can breathe, and you can rest, and you can open your heart and be the truth of your divine self. The fear is a great rebellion, and it really has no power. That the mind can make up fear, yes, absolutely, the mind can make up fear. And it's a never-ending supply if it's wanted. But no one who has walked in fear wants to live in fear. Nobody is saying, oh yeah, fear is my friend. But at the same time, to realize that you can refuse the fear. So when the sweet teacher Yogananda said, when the guest is no longer welcome, the guest will leave. That is the fear. The fear is the guest that is invited. Refuse it. When the guest is no longer welcome, the guest will have to leave, because the guest will no longer have the energy that you've been in the past giving it. Not interested. There was a beloved who used to say, go jump on the sofa, you're just a monkey. Go over there, I'm not interested. Now that seems dramatic, but it was helpful for that beloved. It said, I'm not playing the game anymore, because love is my truth. Because God is my creator. Because the Holy Spirit is my redeemer. Because I am the light of God, and God has promised this is so. And in faith, I accept that, and I don't accept the fear that I carried. I accept the truth of God. The prison building cages is the way the world treats everyone. But the key has been dropped for you. And it'll continue to be dropped for you. Love will keep dropping keys until there are enough keys for you. All the talents of God are within you. How could this be otherwise when your soul was derived from the essence of God? You have every attribute within you that is of God. You have the power of God within you because that's what you are. And even though you may not experience it all the time, even if you get just this little glimpse, and even if that glimpse comes 10 years from now, it is the brilliance of the universe, and it's perfect. It takes great faith. It truly does. It takes great faith to trust that the journey of love is real. Because until the experience is there in some way, it's on faith. And the faith is important. It isn't that it's an aside. It's extremely essential to have that faith, to trust in the promise of God, because we have to walk with that faith until the truth is realized in our awareness, which is guaranteed. But the walking is how we get there, in faith. And when we take a detour off the freeway of love and we take the wrong off-ramp, we don't condemn ourselves, we don't condemn the journey. We get back on the freeway, on the next on-ramp, and we continue. We begin again. And we learn to drop whatever it is that's in the way gladly and surrender into the hands of God. All the talents of God are within you. And the talent of God is not a voice, an ability to paint, able to dance. The talents of God are kindness and humility and peace and harmony, generosity and trust. Those are the talents of God that are within you. You have them all. It's just embracing them and living them that is the journey. Sometimes Hafiz cannot help but to applaud certain words that rise from his depths. Hold this book close to your heart, for it contains wonderful secrets. There is love and teachings everywhere for you. Everywhere you look, love is calling to you. Love is offering you. Sometimes it's not so easy to see, but it's always there. How many times a day can you pick up a book and read just a few words that lift your heart and clear your mind and bring you back to reality? Everything is offered, everything is given. All is always available. It's just the matter of opening and reading and accepting in that moment and wanting to be brought back to sanity. the sanity of love, the sanity of truth, the sanity of one heart that has no expectations of anything but just keeps saying yes, yes, yes. I feel your tenderness. Yes. I accept your tenderness. Yes.